Welcome to my channel. My name's Bissy, and guys, it's here. Finally, we have a trailer for the Vampire Lestat. Now, admittedly, there are quite a few scenes that we have seen before, but there are also many new scenes and images that we haven't, and that's what I want to dive into today. So, if the Vampire Lestat has you absolutely gagging, then please do subscribe because I am going to be diving into absolutely every detail along the way, and it starts with this trailer. So, without further ado, let's get into every new detail I found from this trailer. Okay, so I would like to start with this shot of Lestat walking in 18th century Paris. Now, the first thing to point out is his red cloak, and the hood is lined with wolf fur. His hair is also tied back with black ribbon, and I believe he is human at this point. Obviously, it's daytime. Now, what I believe is really important here are the blue door frames that we can see throughout the street. Now, Lestat is turned not too long before the French Revolution. Now, having your door painted blue was a sign of liberty. It was a symbol of liberty to say that that's what you believed in. And there are quite a few doors here painted blue. So it's just a feeling of the time. And I love that the set designers have paid this much attention. Now, we know that they are meticulous and exquisite with their set design. So this is just nothing less than I expect. Okay, so moving on to Lestat with some of his fans. I thought it was really interesting to see that this fan had her sunglasses on even at night. Now, I did notice that some of his other fans in the concert also had their sunglasses on at night. So I just feel like this is a nod to the in-show fandom, trying to imitate their favourite vampires, shall we say. We then see what looks like the confrontation between Louis and Lestat over the book. Lestat holds the book in Louis's face, well, what looks like Louis's face. Now, I think this is the same scene, but we have seen this clip before. We've seen Louis in this position before, and initially I thought that it was Louis at one of Lestat's concerts, but I don't know now. He may be on the tour bus, or this could be two scenes spliced together. I'm not sure. I mean, Lestat holding this book up in this way looks like he is confronting Louis to me, but I could be wrong. Then we see Lestat back at the bookstore, and he looks like he's making his very first notations in the book. Now, I can't see exactly the page that he's on, but the first thing he says is lies, and it looks like that's on the walk home from the bookstore. So, yeah, Lestat is furious. Then we see Lestat's eyes slowly open as he looks like he's coming out of the ground. Now, there was an Instagram post where the vocals over this shot were, I think it was saying rise, and it looks like he is rising here. But later on in the trailer, we see Lestat's eyes closing in this very same position. Now, I don't know if it's him blinking, or I don't know if it's in reverse, but it's something to look out for. Okay, so I've said it before and I'll say it again, that baby Jenks seems to have a really big starring role. In all of the clips that we've seen and this trailer, she seems to be featured quite heavily. So here we can see baby Jenks laying on the table. Again, we've seen the shot before, but we can see a little bit more detail here. Now, it looks like we have Daniel Lestat, who is out of it, and what looks to me like Christine Claire, Lestat's lawyer. There also looks like there is a doctor. That looks like a doctor bag to me. It looks like there's a doctor who's attending to baby Jenks. Now, this, I think, comes after this scene on stage where Lestat drains her. Now, if Lestat isn't changing her, then I don't know what the situation is going to be. Again, there's plenty of unknowns, but I cannot wait to unravel what is going on here. Then we see who I think is Salamanca get hit by a piñata. And I think this is at the party in Lestat's penthouse. Now, I am going to get into that a little bit more in detail a little bit later. Then we come to what for me is one of the most striking images in the whole of the imagery that we've seen so far from the show. And it's Lestat over a toilet, covered in blood, his t-shirt's on the counter. He looks like he's in a motel room somewhere. Who knows? His phone's on the bed. It looks like he's in the middle of a texting conversation, maybe with Louis. And this looks like rock bottom to me. How could this get any worse? We later see Lestat shedding a bloody tear as he looks like he's given an interview to Daniel. Now, I think this is taken on the same day as the Lamp and Fern interview. I say this because of his hair and his outfit, which I think is the same interview where Daniel says, "State your name," the one where Gabriella's in the corner. Now, we know that Lestat is going to be doing this interview reluctantly, and maybe this is a breaking point for him. To shed a tear like this in front of this camera, what is he going to be talking about? Oh, Lestat! Then we see who I think is baby Lestat, and he's crying his eyes out. It looks like he's looking up into a fire. Now, this could be a story that Nikki recounts to Lestat about the time when Lestat was crying about some witches being burnt. Now, I'll go into this in full detail in my Story of Nikki and Lestat video, so check that out if you want to hear the full details on Nikki and Lestat. And speaking of Nikki, I believe this is Nikki here that we see in this hallway. Now, he looks like he's wielding a hammer, but later on, we do see Lestat in what I think is exactly the same corridor. Now, I say this because of the candles and the way that the background's set up. And Lestat is destroying this man here. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's done. But maybe Nikki and he are doing their first kill together, maybe? I don't know. What do you think? And of course, I could be completely wrong. Then we get this shot of Lestat walking away from a car wreckage. Now, I believe this is straight after the shot where we see Lestat being pulled and jolted in the car. Now, we saw this in the very first teaser. And at the time, I thought maybe this was at the very end of the show and Lestat was being kidnapped. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything for people who haven't read the book, but we can see here, crucially, that Lestat is walking away and he's walking away alone. So I don't think this is going to play out as I thought it would have played out, but I'm glad to see that they are changing things up and keeping us on our toes. We then get a clip of Lestat biting into somebody. Now, I think this is Lestat on stage with the Theatre of the Vampire. Now, if it is, it may corroborate what Armand told Daniel. And speaking of Armand, we get this shot here. Now, again, we saw this on Instagram a couple of days ago. Now, having a closer look here, it does look like maybe he's in the bathroom where Daniel is using the urinal. Now, somebody did mention that in the comments of my video a while ago, but I couldn't quite see it. But here I can see the tile and it seems to match. Then we see Armand actually speaking to Daniel, and it may be on the same day. I'm looking at his jacket here, but I could be wrong. Now, Armand warns Daniel that he's going to get us all killed, and I believe he's speaking about Lestat. And again, Armand sounds incredibly earnest, but that is his superpower, I believe. Sounding and looking earnest. There's another shot of Lestat looking petrified, and I think he's still maybe human here, but I'm not entirely sure. His eyes look human, but I don't know. Then it looks like Lestat is being dropped from a building, and he looks to be dressed in 1940s wear. So if you've read the book, then I think you know what this is pointing at. But if you haven't, again, I won't spoil it here. But this is very, very exciting if it is what I think it is. Then we see this very, very interesting character. There's a very chipped tooth, but I'm not sure that I can see fangs. So I don't know what's going on here. And then we get Lestat staring intently at somebody. Now, I think this is the beginning of the rampage we're going to see him go on in the corridor, but I will get to that in a second. And then we get the sassiest of sassiest Lestat there could be, and I'm just going to let this play.
I'm people. We're people.
And so was I.
Now, I love that clip, but what I want to point out here is the state of this tour bus. Now, we've seen the intro and it looked really lush and really plush. Actually, we've seen Lestat jump and sit on the sofa as he's speaking to Daniel. So is this before they get really big? Lestat's got a lot of money, so he could have done, a little bit better with this, but maybe this is maybe this is on the decline and everything's just gone to the pits. We get a new shot of Gabrielle. I don't know what she's looking at here, but it looks intense. Okay, and then we get what I think is probably the most important clip that we get in this entire trailer. And I believe that this is Magnus grabbing Lestat by the neck and removing him from his and Nikki's bed. Now, in my previous videos, I speculated whether they were going to show Nikki and Lestat in the bed together, because in Louis' version of Lestat's story, Lestat was in his bed in Paris and he didn't mention anybody else. But of course, if you've read the book, then you know that Nikki and Lestat moved to Paris together. So we can see Nikki and Lestat in bed together. We see Magnus's hand grip Lestat's neck. And then I believe we see Lestat being dragged by Magnus out of his room. Now, I'm not sure whether this is in the same scene. I believe it is, but correct me if I am wrong. Then we see an absolutely epic sequence where Lestat takes on a number of, I believe, vampires maybe, in the corridor leading up to his penthouse. Now, we have seen a clip of this scene before where somebody is dragging Lestat's head along this corridor. I know because of the outfit that we see Lestat wearing and, of course, the corridor itself. But Lestat absolutely destroys them and they burst through into the penthouse itself. Now, it looks like there's a party going on at this time, and that is absolutely disturbed. It's got mortals and immortals in it, maybe. And the band look absolutely shocked. Now Lestat flies through the window and runs away or escapes. I don't know. But something is going on and I cannot wait to find out. We then see a clip of Louis removing the head of somebody in the front lawn of a house. Now, it looks like it may be back in Louisiana, back in New Orleans, but I could be wrong. Then we move on to a clip of Lestat and his mother. Well, should I say Gabriella, if you don't want to class her as his mother anymore since he's been changed. But we see the clip of Gabriella and Lestat about to kiss. So yeah, that's still going on in modern day. Cool. Then we see Lestat strike this woman in what looks like his home, but I'm not 100% sure. There's somebody else there on the floor as well. You can see their leg, but I don't know who it is. And my goodness, did they save the best till last? Now, I have been wondering for a very long time whether we are going to get Lestat's version of what happened on the night of the drop directly from Lestat. Now, we've heard Louis' version. We've heard Claudia's version via her diaries. And in one of my members only videos, I go right into that in detail about Lestat losing it. Now, it looks like we may be getting Lestat's version of the fight and the drop from his own mouth. And again, I don't condone anything he did in that argument or that fight or the drop, but it would be absolutely incredible to hear his side from his own mouth. I wonder if we will get it. I don't know. I don't want to hope too much, but I think I am. Oh! And then we end on this beautiful shot of Lestat levitating over the crowd. Now, I don't think this is the time where he uses his cloud gift when he's covered in blood and his guitar's covered in blood. He looks to be wearing a different outfit. So could this be a second time? I don't know. Now, the things that we didn't see that I cannot wait to see is any hint of Akasha. We also haven't seen Marius yet. So will we get to see them in another trailer? Will there be another trailer before the start of the show? I mean, June the 7th is coming very quickly. I can't wait, and I hope to see you all along with me on this journey as we enjoy the Vampire Lestat. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Thank you. Bye.